everyone. Welcome to When Friends Wine podcast. I am one of your hosts, Rachita, and I am here joined with my bestie of over 35 years and co host, Tammy. We are excited you joined us today for our first pilot episode. And during this episode, we just want to introduce ourselves and discuss what inspired us to start this podcast. So I'm going to let Tammy start.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I am Tammy. My name is Tamara, but I go by Tammy. As Rashida said, we've been friends for over 35 years. I am born and raised in the DMV area, currently living in Maryland. I'm a mom of four, two girls, two boys. I am actually getting ready to become a Gigi for the first time. My oldest daughter is pregnant. Yay. Exciting. But pretty much, I'm a self-motivated person, and I want to give back a little bit of that motivation and empowerment to women. I just want to be an inspiration, and I want to let women know that it's never too late to achieve your dreams and goals. And this is for anybody, just not women, but men as well. I want to be a positive outlook and role model for anybody that I come in contact with. So that's the positive energy that I try to exude in everyday life. And this is just one part of that I'm trying to give back, and just help inspire people. Rashita, on to you.
Right. I'm Rashida. I was born and raised in DMV area. I'm currently living in Maryland. I have two amazing sons, Quentin and Makai. So I aspire to create solutions. I'm a ideas girl, if you will. I'm a big advocate. I'm always finding myself advocating. I'm empowering, and I like to educate individuals that they can do whatever it is that they put their mind to do. So, like Tammy, I am a motivator, and I'm self-motivated. So I realize that everybody isn't, a self-motivated person. So I aspire to help people to realize that they can do anything if they just put their mind to it. Fun fact about me is I'm a niece of a former DC senator.
Mm-hmm. So this podcast is essentially to share the power of true friendship. Like, that's really what it's about. We want to take you through our journey, through the major life events that we've encountered, and discuss how a strong bond can really carry you through. So we're going to dive deeply into topics that have shaped and drawn us closer. We'll navigate through things like family, relationships, transitions, and everything in between. We have truly had what we like to call wow moments when we have wined over wine.
So that's pretty much where our name came from. It's a pun. And Tammy and I share a deep love of wine. We've been to Paris together. And so we, we have that love of all things wine. And so that was what we were thinking when we decided to put this podcast together, When Friends Wine, when Tammy and I wine. And we feel like when we do this and when we come together, that great things happen. And we are each other's place of refuge, a place to cry, a place to, distress, or even triumphs, and everything that, good happens in our lives. We want to share with each other and be that support system for each other.
Yep. Great things happen. We want to share our love of wine, and we want you to join us in becoming wine connoisseurs. We are not considered ourselves top connoisseurs, but we're on our way. So we want to bring you along to help you identify certain things. And each week, like I said, we're going to be introducing a wine of the week that we select, and we're going to share some of our favorites along the way, as well as try new ones.
Okay. So we're going to share with you this week. So our first wine that we're going to introduce is called Belaire. It is Belaire Luxe Rose. Mm-hmm. And this wine, so what we did was we got us a wine tasting journal. And in the journal, it has different information about the wine. So we're going to give you all the information that we have, and then we're going to taste them and actually rate them. So I didn't know, and I'm so glad that you got this book, Tammy, because this is amazing. I had no idea that you have glasses that go with the particular wines.
Yes.
So did you know that? I
Yeah.
had no
I've
idea.
seen it before. Like, some glasses are more privy to white wines and some are for reds. And of course, we know there's your standard champagne flute, but honestly, that's the professional way that if you want to really be a real wine connoisseur, then you should be drinking out of the correct glassware.
Right. Okay, so this wine that we have, so this one is actually from France. It
Yay!
is 1898, established in 1898. And so when we introduce these wines, we're going to try to give you as much information as we can. We're going to tell you like what you can pair it with, some other things. What are some other things that I guess we can?
We're going to talk about like the taste of it, the aroma, how much alcohol content is in it, and things like that.
Okay. So this one actually that we're going to be trying today, it has an alcohol content of 12.5. Is that, is that a lot
For champagne,
considering?
I think that's good. It's a lot. I'm not gonna say that it's the highest, but it's definitely, you're gonna get a buzz. If you drink that whole bottle, if you drink 2 glasses of that, you're gonna feel it. That's what I'll tell you. That's what I would absolutely say.
Okay, so this one actually is paired with, it's a dessert wine and it is perfect to complement any meal after you've eaten. And it should be served on ice with fruit.
So what you thinking? Like maybe some chocolate strawberries, maybe some chocolate with
Mm-hmm.
some white strawberries, some macarons, like
Oh yes,
yeah,
macaroni.
like that. That I think that's a good pair. That's a good pair right there.
That's a good beer. All right, so we're gonna pour it up, everybody, and
Mhm.
we'll let you all know our overall rating after we are done with our segment for today. So we thought to start out, a good conversation would be maybe we could just talk about how we even met. And it's an interesting kind of
Because a lot of people don't know that.
an
Of
interesting
course, people that don't,
story.
right?
Right.
So
So
you,
we actually met when we were 11
Mhm.
in the seventh grade. We went
What
to
was that middle school called?
Nicholas Orem Middle
Does
School.
not exist anymore.
You know what? I don't know if it exists. I haven't
Oh,
heard
it's
anyone.
gone.
They
It's
didn't build
gone.
up. They have built up. So it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah,
Are
it's
you
been
serious? I
yeah.
had no idea. We haven't talked about that, but I know they had built up so much, and it was right across the street from PG Plaza.
Mhm.
And so they've changed that whole area around there now. But we met in seventh grade at Nicholas Orme Middle School. And we met, and because in middle school you actually have to pick an elective. And so we both decided that we're gonna pick chorus. So that's how we met, in chorus.
Yeah, our music teacher was Miss Minor. Look, we remember that.
Yes, Miss Mine.
It was, for me, I'll say this. For me, that was my first time entering a Maryland school. I attended DC public schools. So Maryland, that Nicholas One was my first time, attending a school in Maryland because we had moved to Maryland. So I didn't know anybody. When I say I didn't know anybody, I literally did not know anybody. So coming in and clicking with somebody, that was like the best thing for me. I mean, when you're 11 years old, you shy, especially if you're a new kid or whatever, you don't know other people. So it was really refreshing to like meet Rachita. And of course we had other friends, but we just really clicked. Like we gravitated towards each other. Like it was like we were kind of stuck together. Yeah. Like we were.
And like that middle school time is tricky.
Mhm.
Like I can remember, so I actually went to DC public school as well, and we moved to Maryland, I believe, when I was in the sixth grade. So I did have, that time to meet some people in the sixth grade. And but the thing is that when we went to Nicholas Orme, it was a magnet school. So most of my friends in my neighborhood were on the other side. They didn't attend for the magnet program. So it was kind of tough because that 11-year-old, like you're trying to come into yourself, you're trying to figure out, like who you are as an individual, and then coming in where you don't really know people. I'm sure it was really, really hard. And so you got bullying. I had my first encounters of mean girls
Mm.
in middle school. You remember, like, we weren't in every class together. So there was, times where when we got to course is when, like we saw each other. And I think we also took French
Yeah,
together. But,
yeah,
you have your little sections of classes and you kind of take all your classes together
yes.
with them. But yeah, you remember I had encountered that mean girl.
I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. You want to
Mean
say
girl
that?
stuff.
Yeah.
It was so bad because it's like, and I worry sometimes about my kids and going to middle school. How did they kind of navigate that?
You know what? Honestly, I'm gonna say this. My girls didn't particularly have any moments where that I knew. They didn't share that with me about bullying. But I do know when we did a transition, like we moved in the middle school year, that was kind of hard for them because my oldest daughter was going to middle school, and it was like, it was the same situation like me, not going somewhere new, not knowing anybody. But for the most part, I think she did really well. My boys only, CJ is the only one that is, currently, of course, in middle school right now. And he hasn't had any issues with transitioning because, like I said, he started at the beginning of the school year. So it was fine for him. But I know it's tough as a kid anyway, just growing up and the things that kids have to deal with these days. So, I just thank God that I haven't had to hear any horror stories personally from my children. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Good. That's good. So yeah, so we had our whole course moments. We participated in a lot of things over the city. You remember America Sings?
Yes,
We
yes.
did America Sings over on the monument,
Mm-mm.
and that was really fun where we got to learn all of the songs and perform on the monument in front of like a big crowd of people.
Yeah, that
What
was
about our crushes?
yeah. Oh my gosh. We had yearbooks and we gave names to each of the boys that we liked. Each of the boys had names. So every time we never said their name, we had labels for them. So each time we saw the boy, we called them by the name that we gave them. So yeah, it was 5. Remember, it was our 5.
Yeah, we had our five. What do y'all like to know who our 5 was?
It was 5. It was
And you
5.
have these people listening to us
I
and they be
know.
like,
So
I
look,
wonder
we're not gonna name no names. We're not
if
gonna
I
name
was
no
on the
names.
list.
But it was
I'm trying
definitely
to think, like, do we even keep contact with any that was on our list
no,
though?
no. I mean, God
I
forbid,
don't
I
think
hope
so.
that they still
I
alive.
think one I probably, like see on Facebook and stuff like that, but I don't think I've come
Mm.
across any of them in the adult. That's an adult. But it was so funny because we was like we had our 5 and when we see it, we be like, oh my God, oh my God.
Yes, yeah. It's the typical teenage. Like, we weren't even teenagers. It was the schoolgirl crush. It was a typical schoolgirl crush. Like
Hmm.
we were head over heels for these boys, of course. But that I think that's probably where, like you said, when we were taking French, I think that really started the passion and the love for, like, Paris and things like that. Because, taking French, it was the language was either French or Spanish. And for some reason, Spanish just did not intrigue me. I didn't want to learn it. I wanted to know, I wanted to learn French. So we definitely shared that love of French and all things, Paris or whatever. So that started the obsession, I think, early on for me. What about you?
I just got to bring up this one thing. We took we took French, and remember when everybody was going to Montreal? Remember you went to Montreal?
Yes. Yes.
And my mother and father would not
They
let
would
me
not let her
go.
go. And you know what? I was so surprised that my parents did because, I'm an only child. And I was very surprised that my parents, really more so my mom, like really let me go. And I think it was because she knew it was something I really wanted to do. But I mean, you talking about, I was 14 years old. I went with a group of, this was, of course, I was in high school then. No. Was it
No,
eighth
we were in middle school. It
or
was
middle?
our eighth grade. Yeah, it was eighth grade year that you went.
It was a small group of people, and we went with our French teacher, and we took the train. Like, we took the Amtrak train from New Carrollton all the way to Canada. And I'm not even going to tell you how long that took, but I did not care. I was going to a French speaking country or whatever. So it was like all about it. And it just opened me up to a different world, like a different culture. That was like my first exposure to, actually like being in another country. So it was a good experience. And I would really encourage anybody that wants to get out there and really like immerse themselves in like the culture to just do it. But I really wish you could have been on that trip with me.
I
It was
know, but when you came back, like you had brought me remember you
the
had
money,
the money, and then also remember they had you had that drawing,
the caricature. Yeah.
the character, yeah. So yeah, so I felt like when she came back, she shared everything that had happened, but we did get to have our moment when we went to Paris in 2018. So we was trying to study up on our French, got over there and then hardly only thing I think we was like bonjour and it's like why nobody don't speak French over here? We thought we was cool. We was just being pressed,
Yeah.
trying to use any word, but most people was speaking English the whole time.
Mhm. It was the best experience ever. Like we're going back though. We're going back.
Yeah, we definitely gonna go back. But we had, we did our whole photos by what was it, at the cafe.
Oh yeah,
We
yeah,
got
yeah.
to do the macaroons and we was
On the rain.
so
Yeah.
excited about that. The Louvre, we saw the Eiffel Tower. We got to do the whole train experience. So that was really fun,
Mhm.
really fun. So, what about, okay, so as we were growing up, our families were kind of intertwined. Tammy was the only child. I had two siblings. So, it was funny because I kind of felt like you had all of the freedoms and I was living as a PK over at home with all the strict. So
You know what?
so I was trying to every moment I could get over to
Get
your
over my
house
house, and she
because
did.
I'm like, I can't take it over here with my
She shared
siblings
you
for
shared a
one.
room with your sister. Yeah, you sure did. So you came over to my house. I mean, it definitely is a different, like we got to be exposed to both sides. Like I got to see how it was to be, around siblings and live in a house with a brother and a sister. And then you got to see how it was to kind of like live, experience that only child life
Mhm.
or whatever. But as much as you wanted mine, I wanted your life. I wanted the siblings and things like that. And the structure, like you said, was different. Growing up, as a pastor's kid and stuff like that, I know that there were a lot of restrictions, but through that, I learned a lot about Christ and stuff, like just growing up, going to church and things like that. We went to church, but really like learning about having a relationship with God. Those are the things like we didn't really that I wasn't exposed to that. We went to church and that was pretty much it. My mom, she did sing in the choir and stuff like that. I attended vacation Bible school in the summertime, but like going to church with you every Sunday, it was like Bible study at home. It was like it was heavy on that. And it at the
Right.
time it didn't feel overwhelming to me because it was new to me. But I know for you, like you said, it was a little bit of a challenge when it was certain things that you wanted to do.
Listen, because we couldn't listen to the music. When I get to your house, you was like introducing me to all the music. Like you remember, like you would turn on like the oldies but goodies.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Like she was listening to the Isley Brothers and like young, and I wasn't exposed to none of that. So I got to learn, like all about the music and things when I came over to your house And even the fashion and stuff, like Tammy was on it with the fashion. And it's so crazy because I was thinking about this the other day because, like it kind of like was a ebb and flow because like you started out fashion, 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 and then you kind of tapered off and you was
Mhm.
like, I ain't really into that. And then I kind of went in all in
Went
and I
in
was like,
full
okay, I want to
swing.
do the
Yeah.
fashion, 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 fashion. And so like now you girl should be on the fashion tip. You hear me? And I'm kind of like tapering down and I'm like, okay, I'm kind of in it, but not really. But if I want to get any type of fashion advice, I definitely can come to you. But you started, like all of that, like the fashion, all of the stuff that everybody wanted, she had. And so it just was, it's been a journey and it's been kind of crazy like how things kind of like evolve over the years.
Right. I mean, just the life experiences we went through, like, having children and, marriage and just everything. I mean, we went through, we had when we turned 16, we were in a club called the Kabibis that Rashida's mom started, and it was Christian based, but it was with African principles, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
a lot of people probably don't know what rites of passage is. So you better explain it to them.
So yeah, so we basically had all of these different topics from we were learning about budgets, we was learning about, sex education, like all of these different topics we kind of learned about. And then the rites of passage was when you turn 16, it's like you coming into your womanhood.
Right.
And so we had our sweet 16, also our rites of passage party together.
We
And
were the
it
first ones,
was
remember? Out of the Kabibis, we were the first ones to
we
have
was
it. So
the
we
first
were like
ones.
the poster child for that. We were the springboard. We were the first ones to actually go through that ceremony. So the other girls were watching us. I think what were the age ranges? I think.
It was from 11 to 16, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So the other ones, they were kind of like watching us. But when we tell you we had a shindig, we had a whole party. But it's funny because we was talking about this earlier today, and we were talking about our 8th grade graduation. And I didn't know, like she was talking about my dress.
So Rashida had the most beautiful dress that I had ever seen at 12 years old. Now, when you go to graduations, back then, it was basically they tell you what to wear, a skirt, a white top, this, that, and the other. I don't even remember, but I know Rashida came in with a full formal gown on. It was lace, it was pink, it was short at the top, and it was long at the bottom. It had this train, like it was extra. When I tell you it was beautiful, it was gorgeous. And I just remember seeing her like, oh my God, like I want to wear that dress. Like, why couldn't I get some? Like, she was the only girl in our entire graduation class that was dressed like that. So she already stood out in the crowd. Like, it wasn't trying to outdo anybody. I mean, of course it was her mom, that basically, whatever, like, got the dress for her. But I'm just saying, like, she always was her own person. She never followed a crowd. She always had her individual personality. She just stood out, is what I'm saying. So she wasn't a follower. She always had leader personality skills. Like, I'm telling you, at 12 years old, I saw that in her. And that's amazing to
Tammy.
see that and recognize that in somebody. So I knew that this girl was going to be something. She was going to be running somebody's company. She was going to be running a business or something. She's always had that leadership type of perspective and everything. So needless to say, of course, it has infiltrated into your adult life. You know what I'm saying? So, I saw that back then.
It was funny because we were like, thank you though. Thank you. I appreciate that. Cause like I didn't even like remember. And it's so funny. You just don't never know, when people are looking at you, what they're thinking and how you're gonna evolve when you grow up and things like that. But when you talk about friendships and how we evolve over time and just us being, 11 years old and really, creating that bond. It's, like it was a sisterhood for me. And you have no idea how much, like I needed you in my life. over the years to just be able to lean on, bounce things off of, and we're going to get into a lot of the topics and things that, things that we've dealt with over the years and things like that. But Tammy is you are an amazing, amazing best friend. And I could not have asked for a better BFF.
I agree with
She is just, everything that any person could want to have in your corner, because she is that voice of reason, the person that is gonna be like, look, girl, get it together, and get yourself together. So we've grown so much, and we've had some really pivotal moments in our friendship. And I just wanted to share this Muhammad Ali quote. He said, if you haven't learned the meaning of friendship, you really haven't learned anything. And so I hope through this podcast, you, our listeners, will be able to learn valuable lessons that will make you feel inspired to, do whatever it is that you come across in life that you feel like you want to do. Did you want to add?
I just want to say, pretty much, I agree. I appreciate your comments, but you know how I feel about you too. I mean, vice versa. It's the same, it's reciprocated. And like these days, the word friendship is used so loosely. And, sometimes you have to really take a step back and think about that word. So like I said, we'll dive more into some of those instances, but there have been times that our friendship has been tested. It has not always been great, I'll say that.
Roses and grapes and
But
flowers and roses.
we got through, and that's what I'm saying. We got through it. But we've been tested in a lot of areas of our friendship, but the older that we get and the mature that we have become, we really see what holds and what sticks true, to that meaning of that word. And so, like I said, like Rashida say, I could not have asked for a better person to be brought into my life. I know that God has blessed this friendship. I know he has. And, this is, we are here. This is it. Like, 35 years more, hello, into the 70s. So it is what it is.
Yep. All right. Well, friends, we're going to taste up our wine and see what we're going to rate the Belaire Rose.
Okay.
What are we thinking?
So let's talk about that aroma.
So the appearance, the bottle. The bottle is my favorite color, pink. So, I'm giving that a 5-star.
Really girly.
Because I love the bottle is really cute.
Yes.
What do we think aroma?
Sweet. What do you think?
Yeah. You can tell the bubbly.
Anything else you smell, like any undertones or anything like that? It's
fruity.
Strawberry, fruity. Okay.
Yeah, fruity.
Okay.
So what do you think about the taste? I think it's pretty good.
I think it's good. I like it. It is a bit sweet, more than, to my liking. I don't prefer a sweeter wine or champagne, but I can tolerate this. I know I can tolerate this. And it's a rosé, so it kind of smooths out to me. Which kind of like is basically, I just described the finish for me. It's smooth to me.
It's smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
It's crisp. I'll say you
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So what we giving it overall rating?
Let's give it, I'm gonna give it a 4.
A 4?
Yeah. Because it's 5 stars.
It's 5 stars, yeah. I think I'll give it a 4.
Okay, so we agree.
I'll give it a 4 only because I can't give it a 5 because I'm really not a champagne, like always champagne person. So it wouldn't be my go-to. Okay. But I think they've done well, with the taste and just the packaging and everything. So I'll give it a 4.
Okay, I agree.
All right. Well, friends, we would love your feedback on this week's episode. And if you decided you're going to try the wine, please do.
Okay. And also you can keep up with us and you can share. We would love to hear your feedback. And you can also visit us on our Instagram page at When Friends Wine, or you can email us at whenfriendswine@gmail.com. And we'll leave all of the information in the comments field on our podcast.
All right. Well, this concludes our first episode. We hope you will join us each and every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. everywhere you podcast. I would like to just thank you for joining us and see you next time.
Till next time.
I don't need you here to feel good. No, I'm not angry. I got better things to do. Tell your friends I will be just fine.